Hello, everyone. Welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 648. And Nick and I are in our pre-show, pre-podcast recording place where we normally are. How are you? How's things? I hope you are coming back after watching the Crusader Kings, the victorious Crusader Kings stream last night. But yeah, Nick and I are just getting stuff ready. We've got all of our banners. I see Wraith is in the chat room and says it's hot and humid and I don't like it. Yeah, that's the reason why I don't live on the East Coast. Every time I think about leaving California, the humidity is the thing that drives me. Like, I couldn't live anywhere else. I couldn't live anywhere else but the Bay Area. And yes, I know that means I'm soft, and I'm all right with that. But hear me out.
North a bit. Like, I'm sure Washington would be good.
Washington would be okay. Actually, Washington and Portland would be fine, but they're almost as expensive as California now. Yeah, we should have moved there 30 years ago. But it was... it's the fact that it where I live, it is foggy in the morning, cool and foggy and overcast in the morning. I don't want to say foggy, overcast in the morning until about 11, 12 o'clock. Then it's beautiful sunny until the sun sets. And then right about 11 o'clock, the deep mist comes in and cools everything off so that you can sleep. It's just perfect weather. And this is why it's so expensive here. Everybody says, why is it so expensive in California? Because everybody fucking wants to live here. Why? Because it's not fucking hot and humid. We don't have humidity. We might have humidity, but it's not hot. Yeah. We have, of course, Blood Reaper in the chat room. Hey, how you doing? So if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. If you're watching on Twitch, please subscribe to us. We would love to have you follow our channel. In fact, we are very close to actually, reaching our first very minor baby tier on Twitch of being actually a real show. AC Ray says just dry forest burning weather. Yeah,
look, we don't have humidity because we're a tinderbox.
Yeah. Well, that being said, not at the coast.
True.
Not at the coast. With the exception of maybe one or two fires, like in the last decade or so. Not at the coast. It's when you go into the forest, that's where you get the forest fires. We aren't in a forest. There's a reason why I don't live in the forest either. You can't get insurance there. So, I'm almost all ready to go. I just have to do the Audacity, bring up Audacity so I can record anything. How were you, Nick? What did you do this week? Anything interesting?
I watched a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff came out on Friday that I've been waiting to see, like highly anticipated stuff.
Oh, watched. I thought you said washed a lot of stuff. I'm like, dishes, clothes, the floor.
Oh, yeah. Just nonstop washing.
That's what I was doing yesterday. Yesterday was the first day I really started throwing stuff out of Kevin's room. That moment of like, you hate throwing stuff out because it's like, he'd be so mad. He'd be so mad that I'm throwing the stuff out. But he's not here, so I'm throwing it out. Still, it's not even close to being. And on top of that, fucking Kevin, I love my husband. I am so angry at him right now. And I'm allowed to be. I'm so pissed at him. So he took over I have a 2-bedroom house. He took over the guest bedroom as his studio. Mm-hmm. Which he proceeded to put soundproofing foam. Like that black bric-a-brac foam. Like egg carton, or egg carton foam. He put that all over the walls. He attached it like not a little bit, like a couple of sprays of spray adhesive. It would have stayed forever. No, he painted the back of the stuff and stuck it to the walls. So when I went to pull it off, and remember, I live in a 112, 115-year-old house. It's lath and plaster with wallpaper over the top and then painted for years. So, of course, I go to pull off all of the black stuff and it's stuck to the wall like big time. And, of course, when it comes off, it takes all of the wallpaper. It's, of course, I'm like stripping the wallpaper around the house. I'm like the whole room.
Jeez.
Because it's like it won't cut. It won't stop. So I now have these essentially plaster holes, exposing plaster holes in my wall. So now, in order to put that room into a place where it actually can be used as a guest room and it doesn't look like, a shooting den in Detroit, I got to actually drywall the room. I got to take out the lath and plaster, drywall it, and then paint it.
That's
because he didn't.
Home ownership. The joys of home ownership.
This was the first home that he ever lived in that wasn't rented.
Oh, yeah?
So he just didn't.
So I can believe that, of like, you know what? This is my fucking place. I'm going to put up these fucking things because I can.
Right. I don't have to worry about it because it's my place. But it's the opposite. It's your place. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, the problem is that then when you do mess up, fixing it's all on you.
Yeah. Actually, it's not on him. He went and died on me, so I have to fucking do it. Asshole.
Yeah. So the like a couple days ago, in our kitchen, there's like a little window with a crank, and it's one of those cranks that you do and it opens up.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I was just like doing that to air out the kitchen, and then it broke.
Oh, yeah.
And the little crank disconnected from the window, so the window was just stuck open. The next day, by pure coincidence, was like one of the windiest days in the past several months. And I could see the window going. And so we called the repair people several times.
You have a building maintenance person.
Yes, maintenance. Called the emergency maintenance line. And eventually they were able to come in, popped off the screen, reattached a new arm. But I'm looking at that, I'm watching him and just thinking, I'm so glad I could just call. Because if it was up to me to fix this, I don't know if I could fix it in a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, the plumbing that all of a sudden leaks out underneath the sink on Thanksgiving. Yeah, that has happened to me.
I mean, just also the drain got clogged, and so we bought like some drain cleaner, just like, okay, let's pour it in there, let's fix it up. Didn't do anything. So then we're like, okay, let's call the dude, have him come over, fix it. Mm-hmm. And
he comes down and snakes it out and does the right thing.
And it doesn't cost. How much would a plumber cost? A couple $100?
Oh, at least $300 or $400 in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
On a short notice, yeah. AC Ray says, I have 2 shout outs today. One, it's for my half brother Russell's birthday today. Oh yeah. Oh. My idiot brother it's his birthday tomorrow.
Oh, well, happy birthday to both of them.
Yeah. 2, Studio Mudprints posted the final episode of the long running shmup review series Bullet Heaven. Good call outs. And especially the birthdays.
He had mentioned Bullet Heaven in Discord. And when he talked about the final episode of Bullet Heaven, I thought he was talking about an anime show, and I got excited because that's a cool title. Mm-hmm. That's a cool name for an anime show.
It's a great name for an anime.
But it's not.
No.
It's not an anime show. And I was like, oh, damn it.
So yeah, my brother's birthday. He does have the coolest birthday.
What is it?
8/8/68.
8868. Okay.
Best birthday in the family.
I might be able to beat that. My brother's birthday is actually 6789.
No.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And it's nice to have somebody whose birthday is like that because you never forget it.
Oh yeah, very easy to remember.
I couldn't remember my dad's birthday. I couldn't remember my husband's birthday. It was a running joke between us. He would just be like, we'd be sitting watching television. He'd look over at me and goes, "What's my birthday?" And I'm like, "April 20, like 4th? No. Oh, 1st? No. 8th? Yes." He would quiz me just on, random moments. Going through IKEA. What's my birthday? Shit. Yeah, so it's really nice to have a family member whose birthday you can actually remember because it's a cool number. Yeah. All right, so we have bantered. Time to do a show, I think.
Okay.
All right, check. Waveforms.
Check,
Nick?
check. Ow. I have a cat eating my thumb.
All right, there you go. We have waveforms. Always good to have waveforms. All right, now we got to go to the music because we can actually play music now. I just love the fact that I can freaking play goddamn music. But I have to re-record the intro because there's not enough of a lead on it. And it cuts off the first sentence. So I actually, fun fact about the audio podcast, I have to cut off the first sentence of the intro, and then I have to put splice in the original intro, the first sentence off of the sound file, so that it catches the first word.
Huh.
Fun fact.
That seems like a pain.
It's not so bad. Editing software makes the world easier. I so miss Pro Tools. So miss Pro Tools. I've actually been thinking of buying because Pro Tools is now a subscription. I'm actually thinking of getting the subscription, although it is really like fishing with a bazooka to use Pro Tools to do a podcast, but it's still a really good program. It does everything. All right. Moving right along. Can we do the show?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, now I'm curious. How much is the subscription versus how much was it like to buy outright previously?
Oh, to buy outright previously was, well, I mean, if you wanted to use the one that Kevin used for movies, it was $80,000.
Okay. And that's professional grade.
That's
right?
professional grade. $80,000 included the license and the box that you needed, the big piece of equipment that you had to put into an audio rack in order to do.
So then what's the subscription amount for that equivalent?
For the software, now it's all software based with just a license. I think you can get it for like $15 a month, $20 a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. For the basic, not the professional one. I have no idea what the professional one is.
Okay.
Probably several $1,000s a year.
I'm curious what that is. Cause I've hated how work software has now shifted to this subscription model.
Yeah. Fucking Adobe. Fucking Adobe.
Yes.
So they started the microtransaction thing way before Activision and everybody. EA started that bullshit. It is the original, the old school microtransaction was the software as a service paradigm.
Adobe, Microsoft does it now.
Everybody does it.
It's
BMW does it.
Do
you
they
hear about that?
Oh yeah, they were offering it's a subscription service.
It's a subscription service for the heater, for the seat heater. All of them have the equipment. But you have to have the subscription service to actually make them work. Fuck you.
Yes. No, I will take my cold ass seats. Thank you very much.
Yeah, easily. So I hate that it's gone in subscription service, but it also opened up to things like you can have Pro Tools that's like Pro Tools Lite for like $15 a month, which is not bad. Now, if you want Pro Tools professional, I'm sure it's somewhere in the realm of a couple $1,000s a year. But they know that you're going to have it for years and years and years and years.
Okay,
and you get
it
an
looks
enterprise
like-
license, and it's you pay $100,000 for an enterprise license.
I think I'm at
every
the
year.
the right Pro Tools website, and it looks like their most expensive thing is $100 a month.
Right.
Which
Right.
$100 a month, $1,200 a year, and then it used to be 80,000. Like that's actually not too bad.
Because you don't have to buy the equipment anymore. You don't have to have that big piece of rack equipment to make it happen.
Okay.
It's just because computers are so much faster now. All right. So,
anyways, after that diversion.
right. And you have to remember when you're working on a movie, that's license per user. So like if Skywalker, you're talking several hundred sound editors that all have to have that license. So they probably should charge an enterprise price for the whole company, which is also probably a subscription. Anyway, moving right along, let's start the show.
This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 648. It is Sunday, August 7th, 2022. I'm Edie Sellers, and with me is Nick DiNicola. We are in the house. We already talked for like 20 minutes before this show. If you're not watching us on YouTube or on Twitch or on Facebook, you probably should, because that's where we talk about most of the stuff that we've got here.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Riveting topics like weather, like subscription software. Just you're missing the good stuff, honestly.
You kind of are. We're very interesting people. I think we are. I love the smell of my own farts.
If I didn't think I was fascinating, I wouldn't be doing a podcast.
Yeah, it is kind of the definition of hubris, isn't it? Thank you for the link. AC Wraith, we were talking before the show about BMW is now selling heated seat subscriptions for $18 a month, and how the world has gotten worse. And it started with Adobe doing software as a service, and then the Creative Suite and all of that just led to and kind of pathing that out to EA doing microtransactions, that it became that kind of thing. And of course, Bitter says, fuck Adobe, fuck BMW. Agreed. Fuck them all. Bitter says, looks like those old out of sync kung fu movies from the 70s. Are we out of sync?
No, I think it's when we're mouthing over the intro.
Oh, okay. All right. Because you can't hear it on the podcast. We mouth the intro now. Because we've been listening to it for like more, for Nick's case, almost half its life.
I was also saying, like, I now hear when you said it cut off the first sentence. Mm-hmm. I heard that when it just came up.
Yep.
Once I'm actually trying to pay attention to it.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see. How old are you, Nick?
37.
Okay, so you've got a little while, but you've been doing this for 14 years. So we're not quite at half your life, but if we keep doing this, we will get to that.
We get there eventually.
Yeah. So, how you doing? What you playing? What news?
I'm doing good. There's a lot of good TV and stuff came out. The Sandman on Netflix is actually really good. Prey on Hulu, the new Predator movie, really good. Bullet Train in theaters, really good.
Really? Prey is good.
Oh yeah.
I've been holding off. I'm waiting until a lot of the things that are on Hulu and particularly Netflix, get reviewed. Because I am not going to get invested in something that is shitty, like it's got a really shitty ending.
Yeah.
Like had I known how bad the last season of Game of Thrones would be, I'm not so sure that I would have gone through the whole Game of Thrones. It broke my heart.
I think it's worth it. I think those early seasons and even the middle seasons, even the later seasons, they're all of such quality that it's absolutely worth it.
That last season, though, man, that was
even then,
that was a really hard flick to the balls.
The second
it maybe
episode,
not a full kick, but a hard flick.
But the second episode of the last season, fantastic. One of the best of the series.
What was the second episode?
That was the one when it was just everyone sitting around talking, waiting for the White Walkers to attack.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just the whole episode of like all the characters that you like just sitting and just kind of shooting the shit.
It was your way to say goodbye to a lot of them. That was your moment.
And that
was the swan song.
Really good.
That's true. I didn't hate that episode, but still, that ending. But we don't need to go into that. No. What are you playing?
Wait. I have to say first about TV. We've been watching something that I think you might enjoy because I know you like baking shows, right?
Sort of. I'm not. I've never been into the Great British Bake Off. I know.
Oh, I thought you were.
I know. No.
I thought you had said something. Or maybe I'm getting that confused with
I like Project Runway.
Okay. There's this show on Hulu that we found just looking for goofy ass shit called Crime Scene Kitchen.
Okay.
Basically, it's about a bunch of teams. There'll be a kitchen that looks like, someone baked something in it.
Oh, I can totally figure that out.
And there'll be little clues of like, oh, these pots are in the drying rack. Oh, you have like 3 different spices laid out, but only one of them has like little stuff around it. So that means that's the only one that was used.
I think I would love that.
Yeah, it's like
I would love that.
You open the fridge and there's egg yolk in there, which means the whites were used for something.
Right.
And it's a bunch of people doing that to try to figure out what was baked, and then they have to. Then what's cool
I would be so good at that show. They have to bake it
as close as they can to what was actually baked, and that was kind of one of the interesting twists. Is in the beginning, lots of people were trying to add their own little flourishes, but that's not what the judges want. They want it to try to be as exact and close to the thing as possible. Mm-hmm. And Rachel, very good at it. She's going, oh yeah, it's probably this cake, that cake, that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just sitting there like, sure, I believe you, but
yeah, I would be definitely really good at that.
It's a surprisingly fun to watch them try to puzzle it out, and then just the baking stuff. So
there's a really good, and I don't remember the name of it or even who does it. I want to say it might be Epicurious. It could be Bon Appetit. I don't know. But there is a YouTube series, and it is a person is given a recipe but not told what the recipe is. So they have to follow the directions of the recipe without actually knowing what they're baking. So they have to kind of guess. It's surprising how vague recipes can be unless you know exactly what you're baking.
Huh.
And it's really funny that they put the strawberries on top in an orderly fashion, in order, and it's like,
it's
that kind of stuff.
What's the order?
Right, exactly. Is it supposed to be around? Is it supposed to be square? Is it supposed to be under? Is it supposed to, I don't, so it's
okay. I like that. That's cool.
When you don't know what you're baking and don't have a visual in your head of what you're trying to achieve, it is very hard to actually figure out what you're baking. So yeah, same thing. Anyway, games.
Yeah, good show. AC Wraith, get on that YouTube channel Edie was talking about.
Oh yeah, that's no way you're gonna find it. I remember that I think she was making a strawberry shortcake and couldn't figure out, like it was really difficult. He said, AC Ray says, I finally watched Stranger Things because I'm a pirate. Yar.
Hey, I fully approve.
Yeah, if you're going to break federal law to watch a show, that's a good show to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, going to jail for it. It's worth going to jail.
Yeah, yeah.
AC Res, I've been trying. He's trying to find it. I think I broke AC Wraith. He is our link bitch and tries very hard to get links for absolutely anything that I mention or Nick mentions. Get mentioned on the show. He's got a link for it.
Any of us mentioned.
Yeah.
But as for games, I spent the night to finish Bug Snacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I have heard that the ending is like weirdly dark considering what the rest of that game is. And that definitely stays true.
Mm-hmm.
Like it goes in some directions.
Right.
For a game about feeding monsters food-shaped bugs that then turn their limbs and their teeth and their heads into said food, the game acknowledges the kind of weird body horror-ness of all of that. And like how this is kind of really weird and messed up. So that was interesting to finally get to the end of that and kind of solve the mystery of the Bug Snacks was definitely satisfying. And that is a weird, super charming, super interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd highly recommend it.
Well, good. How long did it take you to finish?
It took a surprisingly long time. I'd say maybe 15, 20 hours.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I also did like everything. I caught all the Bug Snacks. I found all the Bug Snacks. Yeah, I did everything I could. And that includes the DLC too.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. That's at least, I mean, how did the DLC come free with it, or did you have to?
I think it did for me because I downloaded this as like one of those PS Plus freebies. Like when I can't remember. I think when the PlayStation 4 came out. No, it wasn't that long ago. This was like a launch game for one of the consoles. And
I want to say it was. Was it? I think it was PlayStation. I think it was launched on PlayStation.
I think when PS5 came out,
right,
Bug Snacks was like a launch title, but it came out on both versions,
right,
PS4 and 5. And like that first month, it was one of the little freebies if you were a subscriber to PS Plus, and I downloaded it then. And I guess that included the DLC later on because I got to play the DLC, and I certainly never paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Paid for it beyond the subscription service, at least.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, a very charming way to kill some hours.
Worth it?
Oh yeah.
Good to know. Any other games?
Yes, the one I've been playing the most is Octopath Traveler: Champions of the Continent, which is a free-to-play mobile sequel to Octopath Traveler, the kind of 2.5 HD pixel art graphic RPG that came out several years ago. I've been playing it on my tablet, so I've been playing it on like a nice big screen. And I gotta say, it's really, really good.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good, and the free-to-play systems and transactions that they have in place don't feel exploitive. So, from the core, Octopath Traveler, it's an interesting series because there's not really a main character. The way this game starts is you kind of just get... I started on my phone and I started on my tablet. neither time I chose my starting character. I just kind of got like 3 cards showed up on screen, and one of them automatically got picked. And so it just kind of gives you a character. And that character is a 5-star character. The characters are ranked because at the core, this is a gacha game.
Mm-hmm.
So your main character is just a 5-star character that you start with. And then you're given like 3-star characters to kind of flesh out your team of 4. And then you just get into the game. But the way the game works is it's an anthology series more than anything else. There isn't like this big, grand, overarching story. You've got these 3 main stories that revolve around like the 3 influences of this game: wealth, power, and fame. So you can choose, I'm someone looking for fame, and you'll kind of start in the fame area. But very quickly, you complete chapter 1 of the fame missions, and there is no chapter 2. Like, you have to travel to another town, do chapter 1 of power, do chapter 1 of wealth, and go through like that. And that's the way the game is structured. That's the way the original game was structured as well, in that you had 8 characters, but you weren't supposed to like do one character's quest from beginning to end. You're supposed to do chapter 1 of all of their quests to like circle the continent.
Got
then
it.
do chapter 2 of all their quests. And the leveling kind of works out that way.
Uh-huh.
But like as you're going, you get side quests. You meet other characters, and each of the characters in your party comes with their own quests. So the way the microtransactions work is it's a gacha game where eventually you'll go to the shop, you'll run, basically pull a little slot machine handle and get a set of characters. Each of those characters has a star rating associated with them, but they also have a story associated with them. And so as you're traveling around the world, you can run into the characters in your party, or you can run into characters that you've gotten from that slot machine and just do a little side quest story with them. But what's neat is their stories they vary drastically. One of them, I was helping this thief like fight an apothecary who was price gouging sick people, and that involved a lot of combat. Like, I had to fight the apothecary, then I had to go follow a treasure map with the thief, go out into like the woods in a cave. Lots of combat involved. Another one of my party member quests was just a cleric who wanted to learn how to pray better. And so it just involved like running back and forth from a church to this area, talking with people. And that was it. Like, no combat involved at all. And those are like the little stories that are interspersed throughout. It's so when you're like, the idea of all these little stories, I think works well for the mobile game, right? Because I'm going to pop open my tablet, follow this one character's story, this little side story for a bit, and then that's it, and I'm done. I don't have to keep this epic, grand, world-changing plot in mind. I can kind of forget what I'm doing and then just hop in and play some more. What makes it really cool, though, is the way the combat works with the gacha mechanics. So each character has their own weapon and skills involved. Like someone, let's say clerics always have axes, priests always have staves, researchers always have books, other people always have swords, but each character has their own set of skills. Like someone may have sword and electricity, someone may have sword and ice, someone may have sword for a single opponent and then a sword attack for all opponents. So each character has their own set of skills. Each enemy has a specific set of weaknesses. And so when you get into combat, an enemy will have like a number next to it, let's say 3. And that means if you hit it with the attack that it's weak against 3 times, you will break it. And basically that means you stun it, it loses a turn, and it becomes more vulnerable to attacks. So a lot of combat revolves around trying to find what these enemies are weak against, because that's how you do most damage. You can have like the strongest leveled up character, but if they're attacking an enemy with something that's not weak against, they do such shockingly less damage. So if an enemy is not broken, I think if you hit it, what I've kind of found in watching the numbers, basic attacks on an enemy, if it's weak against a particular attack, you'll do twice as much damage as normal. And then when it's broken and stunned and you attack it with something it's weak against, it will do double the damage from that. So, like, you have a character doing a normal attack and then attack that it's weak against. The attack that it's weak against is doing like 4 times as much damage as usual. So it's super important to find those weaknesses. And what that means is, since each character has their own skills, their own weapons, you're kind of constantly playing this game of finding the right character for the right fight. And so it gets into what kind of like what Final Fantasy Tactics did, is the nitty-gritty number crunching of team building, of looking at the characters' stats, looking at their skills, looking at the area that I'm in and thinking, okay, I want someone, I'm going into like a ice area. I probably want some people with fire. I probably want some people with electricity. And then I want like a nice range of physical attacks, right? Maybe staves, swords, knives, and a bow, because that should give me some wiggle room. And so it's just a lot of fun to put together a team like that and kind of think strategically about what characters I need. I got into one fight where my characters were all like level 20, and I was fighting this kind of boss enemy that was like level 10. But none of the things I had, it was weak against. So I'm just kind of sitting there wailing on it for turn after turn after turn, doing such little damage that eventually I decided to just run away and give up, because even though I was over leveled, I wasn't properly outfitted to fight this guy. So I left the fight, switched my team around, went back into it, and killed it in like a couple turns. And that's a fun system. I like that kind of nitty gritty team building. I think that's what makes an RPG fun.
Yeah.
And I will, and
the fact that it's free to play, obviously there's microtransactions. It doesn't feel creepy.
The way the microtransactions work.
Sorry.
Like I said, it's a gacha game. So, and there's a shit ton of characters. Like Octopath Traveler, the original game had a lot of characters. It was 8, thus the name. This just expands all of that. So there's a lot of characters to get, but it doesn't, at no point does it kind of encourage you to like collect them all like Pokemon, right? There is no menu where you see, oh, these are all the possible characters you can get, and these are the ones you have. You only see your team. So it's not like it's trying to scratch that collect them all itch. The way the gacha thing works is you get rubies. Those are basically the paid currency. And you need 300 rubies to pull the slot machine 10 times. And you can either do it once for 30 or 10 times for 300. And that kind of gives you 10 different characters. I will say, buying 300 rubies is overpriced.
Oh.
Horribly overpriced. It's $30 for 300 rubies. So it's basically $30 for a pull at that slot
a single 300 pull.
Yeah, well, single meaning 10 characters.
Jesus.
So $30. But where the game gets okay is that, at least in this beginning part, you know, it has thrown enough rubies at me that I have been able to pull that slot machine several times, to the point where I've outfitted a team with like 3 5-star characters, several 4-star characters, and even then, I got it down to like single digits, and then I kind of had to earn my way in rubies back from there. And you get rubies by just kind of playing the game. You play the main story
The way
quest,
it should be.
you play the side quests, and like over the course of a couple days, I've gotten up to 300 again. And so it doesn't feel, even though like when I look at the actual price, it's like, oh, this is way overpriced. You are counting on whales to buy these rubies. But if you don't buy the rubies, I think it is giving enough with them through the basic act of play that you can pull that slot machine enough times to get enough characters to outfit your team properly so that you are actually prepared to fight monsters. Because you do
What
need...
level are you right now?
I'm like level 20.
And
Most of my
what's
characters are
the
around
level
20.
cap?
The level cap changes depending on the rank of your character, of course.
Okay.
But, it's like it can range from 40 to 80.
Okay, so you're about anywhere between a third to a half way through the game.
Well,
So you
maybe.
conceivably, I mean, that's kind of the way that free to plays work, is that you do great up to a point, and then it gets really, really, really hard to not spend money.
We will see, because like I have been moving through this game at a pretty good clip, and like at no point does it feel like I am being hobbled by the microtransactions. So I'm curious to see where it goes, because I want to keep playing. I'm actually really enjoying it. I like the combat system. I like the story. All of the characters are so earnest, and it's a nice, refreshing RPG. It's not this morally complicated fantasy world where I'm getting enmeshed in these, hard politics of, oh, we're going to choose who lives, who dies. We're going to discuss the philosophy of power and what it means to rule. Nah, man, I just want to help this little cleric boy learn to pray.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. I'm just, hey, there's this guy.
It's nice to have the simplicity of that instead of everything being a
there's
grand
this guy
quest.
stalking this woman, and I'm going to go save her. It's like, yeah, that's the quest, and you get some rubies and stuff out of it. And all the characters are so earnest, like I said, and nice.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is refreshing.
Yeah. Given the state of the world and so many other games out there, it's really nice to have just something very simple.
This isn't a fantasy world. There is magic and there are monsters, but there's, it's a surprisingly grounded fantasy world when you compare it to like other Square Enix games, like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest.
Right.
But the real fantasy is that everyone is kind.
Yeah, no kidding. So, I guess this is a highly recommend for you.
Yeah, highly recommend. It's funny that the tablet has become like my go-to RPG console of choice, because I played the Final Fantasy Tactics on the iPad, and now I'm playing this Octopath Traveler on there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what they can come up with next.
Yeah, it's nice to actually hear you really, and to hear about a free-to-play game that isn't kind of dickish, like that actually is fun to play.
And it's worth noting too that like this is entirely single player. There is no competitive multiplayer aspect to it. Mm-hmm. So I've played other Square Enix mobile RPGs and others that I've really enjoyed. And those ones had like a competitive aspect to them. So that kind of that served as a carrot on the stick to get you to, hey, maybe you want to pay a little more to upgrade your characters, because then you can fight more people, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not the case here.
Right.
If you can beat the boss, then you beat the boss. Like you don't need to pay to upgrade it. As long as you can progress the story, that's all you need.
Right. All right. Well, moving on to exactly the opposite of this very simple game. I'm still stuck on Crusader Kings 3. I am still playing. I'm going to continue to play it on Twitch because it is a hell of a lot of fun. Every time is different. And last night we were able to conclude the. I added it up. It took 17 hours of play to actually kick out the Pope. Essentially, our goal was to dismantle the papacy. And last night at 8:00 p.m. Pacific time, I was finally able to do it with the most unlikely character, which was the 11. I think I mentioned it last week that the 11-year-old girl had inherited the king because the king had unceremoniously died, and it had completely broken up all of the.
And you were in the midst of dealing with a whole bunch of civil wars as people
civil wars, people trying to take it from me. I lost most of. I mean, everything was split in half between me and my sister, and it was all just went fucking off the rails. But we managed to get out of that, and it turns out she was a bit of a badass. And at age 70, she was able to not only take over all the lands of Italy, create the Empire of Italia, and then defeat the Pope to remove him from Rome, dismantle the papacy, and the Pope eventually converted to Asatru, and we became the head of the new Asatrun religion. And it's all kinds of fun. So we're not quite sure what we're going to do next. I'm thinking an all incest to see how far I can get, to see how bad it can be.
Crusader Kings.
Yeah. What's the name of the family I'm having the name of the European family that had all of the
Borgia?
No. All the no. To the point of where they had a king that had. He was sterile. He couldn't speak. He couldn't actually eat because his jaw was out so far that he had to mash everything up with his tongue in order to eat. Ooh. He was essentially an idiot. I mean, really. God dang it. AC Ray, what's the name?
I don't know this.
What's the name? And they're known for their jaw. It's not Rothschild. It's
Jawberg.
Was it Charles I of Spain? Is that the one that was horrifically, or Charles II of Spain, horrifically inbred? Yeah, I think it was. It was definitely Spain that was. And I'm having a brain cramp. I know this family. Anyway, we're going to try and actually, I think, see how far I can get with incest and marrying into family. We have to first off reform the religion to allow that, and essentially start with cousins and then move it on to more of it. Yeah. Charles I of Spain. Thank you very much. But what was the Habsburg? That's what it is. The Habsburg jaw. The Habsburg chin is this really underslung chin.
I remember I was looking around that map when we were playing just to see all the other options. And there was one area down in northern Africa where because so much of it was uncivilized desert, or desert that you couldn't have land in, you would have little patches of kingdoms, then just a big empty zone that could not be converted into anything, and then a whole bunch of kingdoms around it. But there was this little sliver of land where it's massive kingdoms, big dead zones, massive kingdoms, and a little sliver of land that connected the north and south. And I thought, that would be an interesting location to try to rule, because you're this really important through line, but it's this purely vertical kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we will be starting that. I run it usually. Well, I have to wait on Wednesday nights. We do it after work, so it has to be at 6 p.m. But on Saturdays, I do it about 4 p.m. because that way I can get it done sort of early, put my 3-ish hours in, and then still have an evening to myself to do laundry and crap. So So yeah, it's in the schedule for Twitch. Would love to have you join us on Twitch. If you're interested in finding us on Twitch, it is. Let me see if I have a banner for it. I should have a banner. Yeah, there we go. Twitch, the GameHounds. Please join us for that. And I try to announce it whenever I go live on the Discord channel, so you can join the Discord channel and get all of the first run information. We might, in fact, Nick, let me pose something to you. Is maybe we want to play some more together and maybe make it on a Wednesday and see if we can get you up to speed with this game so that we can start doing stuff together independently, like beating up, I don't know, like going on the Mongols with, not, was it the Mongols? Yeah. With the elephants and marching across.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, marching across Europe that would be kind of fun, working together.
I could do some of that on Wednesday. Yeah.
All right, so we'll start with that with Nick. We'll take a little break from the actual grand campaigns, and we'll work with Nick, and we'll play a little bit more together. So, yeah.
This time I promise not to try to kill you.
Yeah, we're going to go into something different so that it becomes more like working together so you can learn, as opposed to try to kill me and then you don't learn.
No, I did learn a lot.
Yeah, you learned some, but not a lot.
I feel like
there's a lot to learn.
Well, yes.
Yeah, it's deep. Thank you for the link for GameHounds on Twitch, AC Wraith. All right, so feel free to join us. But that's what I did this week. That's been kind of taking up my time. That and work.
Yeah.
Same old.
And I saw on the Discord you were asking about the Forgotten City because you just don't trust my recommendation alone, and you're like, I need to hear from other people.
I do not trust your recommendations. No.
I know what people like. I still think you would dig it.
Yeah, all right. I'm not convinced that I wouldn't like it. Let's just say that.
Okay. It's not that long.
And that's the other thing is it's as opposed to sitting through an episode of The Floor is Lava. It's not that long.
Yeah. Floor is Lava is 30 minutes and it feels like 6 hours. Yeah.
Yes.
This is 6 hours that will feel like 30 minutes.
Good. All right. Excellent. So on that note, should we start? Should we go hit the news?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with gamer Edie and Nick DiNicola. And our first item is...
Okay, I know you're always on me about the Above the Fold story.
Go to the Above the Fold story.
The thing is, I don't know what the Above the Fold story is this week.
There really isn't an Above the Fold story.
Yeah.
So just pick the one that you think is most important, not the one that you could find the tab easily.
Yeah, okay. Well, the one that I am most excited about is that Square Enix announced a remake of an old classics tactics game called Tactics Ogre Reborn. And it's coming in November. And what's kind of cool is it's coming with a change to the leveling system to just make it more user-friendly.
Right.
Because I guess in the original game, it kind of encouraged you to keep everyone as the same class because that helped them move faster. And now it's not going to do that. So it just makes it, like I said, a little more user-friendly. There's been some controversy because some people don't like the new art style. I will say, I think the art style is good. I remember when Square Enix came out with mobile versions of Final Fantasy VI, they added like this very modern mobile game-esque art style to the characters that didn't look good. This is not that. This just looks like it takes the old school pixel art and just like smooths out all of the edges so that instead of getting the harsh blocks of pixels, you get like an actual curved outline. And I like it. I like the way it looks, but there's a lot of people on Twitter, of course, that are just like, "Oh, pixel art! It has to be the pixel art," that are upset about it.
Yeah, because it looks different than the way that they remember, and things have to evolve. If it doesn't look like something close to what it was, it doesn't have to be exact.
Yeah,
everything needs to evolve.
I like pixel art. Like, I genuinely like that art style. Mm-hmm. I think this looks great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy that they finally announced this. There've been rumors about this for a long time. Mm-hmm. Also, rumors of them doing a remake of Final Fantasy Tactics, but there has been no announcement of that. But at least between playing Final Fantasy Tactics, between playing.
It's so funny. I'm looking at this. This reminds me of Octopath Traveler. The way that it looks, the art style.
Yes, it's very similar. That isometric view. So I'm on like an old school pixel art tactics kick this year.
Yeah, you are. Well, for good reason. Did they say when it was going to be released?
Yes,
11/11/2022. That's what I just saw on the trailer. So
not that far.
Wow, it's surprising that they were able to keep that under wraps for as long as they did. Mm-hmm. Because normally we would hear something about this before that.
There were a couple whispers about like remakes of it, but like I said, those whispers were more leaning towards Final Fantasy Tactics than Tactics Ogre.
Yeah. Well,
this story that AC Wraith linked to is. The headline is Remake of Beloved RPG Tactics Ogre botches sprites and revamps progression.
I saw that link and I never went into it because it seemed too emotionally charged.
It doesn't botch the sprites, you idiots.
And AC Ray says Square Enix does this sort of thing continuously and fans have repeatedly told them they hate it. Well, there is that.
They, like I said, they did Final Fantasy VI on mobile with a mobile-esque art style, and it looked bad. They have since gotten rid of that game on the storefront, and now they've released like the Pixel Remasters, which is a mobile version of the games with pretty much the original pixel art. They changed. Like, they did the thing that people wanted them to do. This is not the same as what happened before. They're not redoing the art in a modern style. They're just smoothing the edges. And so all the people whining about that, I think, are completely like talking out of turn. Completely misplaced.
Right. So speaking of, let's see, not keeping things under wraps. My top of the fold thing, Crystal Dynamics Streisanded itself this week by all but confirming that the details of the next Tomb Raider and that Lara Croft will have a same-sex relationship. So here's how it went down. You know what the Streisand effect is, right, Nick?
Yeah, it's where you deny something, but in denying it, you acknowledge its existence.
Right, you amplify the message. Like if you hadn't said anything, nobody would have noticed. But by you saying something about it, that makes everybody notice it.
Yeah.
So apparently you are smarter than Crystal Dynamics because they didn't understand that they should have just shut their mouths. Here's what happened. Last week, there's a podcast called Sacred Simples, Colin Moriarty's Sacred Simples. And they had an unusual segment last week that they were reading out what they alleged was the casting script for British actors reading for the part of Lara Croft. Okay? So in this episode, they noted that the casting list includes a female, mid-30s, who's white, 5'6", athletic, a prototype of Emily Blunt, Rosamund Pike, etc. Lara Croft, essentially.
Yeah.
Not really surprising in that description for a Tomb Raider game. However, what was surprising is that the casting description for Lara's actress includes the following. They're looking for an actress who the character may have, quote, romantic scenes with another female character, but that, quote, there is no nudity or simulated sex. So this would be very interesting, but remember, this is supposed to be an alleged leak of a document that had no, like, it could have just been like, somebody says they had the casting script.
Yeah.
You know, it's an interesting theory, but theories are kind of like assholes. Everyone's got them, and most of them stink. Well, Crystal Dynamics, very stupidly, sent a DMCA takedown notice that very same day that podcast went live. Though they didn't send it to Moriarty, they actually sent it to his Patreon page where the subscribers support his podcast, which was directly threatening his source of income. Monday afternoon, he did that on, I think it was Friday. Monday afternoon, Patreon sent that DMCA after they sent the DMCA notice. Colin Moriarty went to some lawyers, talked to not only his own lawyers, but Patreon's legal team, and they decided to take down the clip because even though it's clearly fair use, they didn't want to have to fight Square Enix's lawyers on a DMCA takedown notice. It was a fight they were not willing to make. I respect that. I don't know that I wouldn't do the same thing. I very much like to think that I would defend my right as a fair notice person. But at the same time, there is, when you're working with a podcast, it's in your home, it's user supported. I'm sure it's not like making tons of money. I respect that decision.
Yeah. And besides, now the news is out there, which kind of renders the whole DMCA thing moot.
Exactly, because the only way that it could be a DMCA notice, a takedown notice, is that there was property of Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix / Crystal Dynamics, that property that was being broadcast. And in the show, they didn't show the actual podcast. They didn't have anything visual. So it couldn't have been like music. No music was played. They didn't show any logos or artwork. There were no pictures of Lara. So all they did was read what was on that casting script. So the DMC notice would lead you to believe that the script was very much real. And so, yeah, pretty much Crystal Dynamics verified the authenticity of that script. And yeah, Lara is going to have some girl-on-girl action in the next Tomb Raider. There was also a lot of description about the actual game itself. A huge, like an actual description of the game.
Okay.
Do you want to hear it? I mean, I could read it to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, do it. Do it. I like these games.
You know what? I'm wondering if I might get a DMCA takedown notice just by saying it. Well, I am reporting on what was said. I'm not reading the script. I am reporting what was said on the podcast.
You're reporting someone else's reporting of someone else's reporting.
Right. I'm reporting the news story about this event, not reading the script. So it is not their property. It is news. I have to find the article though. Stand by.
Okay. Well, I will say it's interesting that they have this in there because I remember the first Tomb Raider reboot had like a really, really strong undercurrent of a romance between Laura and her friend Sam, I think it was, because Sam was basically the damsel in distress of the game. She gets kidnapped and spirited away by some cult on this island, and Laura goes to rescue her. And it's like the interactions they had with each other were like really had a lot of undertones of same-sex romance. And then Sam disappeared from the next two games, just vanished.
Well, maybe she's coming back. You never know. So here is the description. Here are the words that were said on the podcast Okay. Lara Croft is now at the top of her game. Gone are the days of the young, inexperienced woman dealing with matters of legacy and familial reckoning. Lara has let go of her childhood and fully embraced the life of adventure and purpose. Her legendary career has been lauded in print and tabloids. Tall tales of adventure have inspired a new generation of Tomb Raiders to seek their fortune in the world. And with this new phase of her life, Lara fully accepts her place among the ruins. There's more that goes on. I'm sure. And if you, AC Wraith, if you can get the link to the one on Verge. There we go. That's it right there. That's the article. So you can read the whole description that was on the words that were said on the podcast for yourself if you'd like. But yeah, I think that's if they'd have just not said
just didn't do the DMCA.
anything, it never would have made a ripple anywhere.
Yeah,
But they
they
did.
basically confirmed it by doing the DMCA.
Yeah, they Streisanded themselves.
Yeah,
This is like the definition of a Streisand.
yeah.
So yeah, good job getting that leak for Colin Moriarty. Very impressive and
Also,
well done.
I feel like-
well done, sir.
I also feel like it's news that Crystal Demix is working on another Tomb Raider game. I
I
wasn't
think that
sure.
we knew that.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was a thing or
'Cause
not.
That was discussed when Crystal Dynamics was sold.
Yeah, but if they're at the stage of casting now, it must have been in the works before then.
Oh no, I think it was in the works before then because they were sold a month ago.
Yeah, about.
Yeah, and in the in the whole discussion of that, it was noted that they are working on the next Tomb Raider game, and that the next Tomb Raider game is going with them. That was the big question of why would you boot the game, like Lara Croft just before they start like making the next Lara Croft game. There's also was a really interesting article that I didn't read enough to really comment, intelligently on it, about how Square Enix said that the reason why they sold Crystal Dynamics and what was the other one they sold?
Oh yeah, I know. Eidos Montreal, I think.
Yes, Eidos Montreal. Yes. The reason why they sold those was because they were cannibalizing other productions in the Japanese market. And there's been a lot of discussion about how, no. But they were saying that they were taking so much resources away from other Japanese titles that it wasn't worth it for them to hold on to them. Scar Wallace in the chat room says he finally got his PS5, although possibly got COVID again. Good news, bad
win
news.
some, you lose some.
AC Ray says it seems that the most positive press Colin Moriarty has received since he completed his right-wing cult turn and left Kinda Funny. Yep.
I did not know that about him, but
I didn't know that about him either.
okay.
Yeah, he was unknown to me until today. More evidence of a Streisand. So, okay, next item.
Okay. Come on, get the mouse moving. Steam is changing some of its rules for how banner art will be displayed on its storefront.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the new rules are that you can't just have like a picture and text. Basically, they have a like bullet point of what you can and can't do in order to like clean up the visuals of the storefront.
Okay.
So this is in the banner art, like right when you're on Steam and you see that little picture for a game. This is what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
No review scores of any kind, including Steam reviews or external news sources. So they don't want to see like 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of review scores everywhere.
This is on the actual game page or on the store page?
On the banner. The
banner of the actual games page.
Yeah, I think this is like when you're on this page and you see like, there's a logo and a logo and a logo. Like, yes, all these pictures on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
They want to limit the visual clutter of what those pictures on the left side can display.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, they say no review scores. Let me get that page again. No award names, symbols, or logos, other than the game.
Mm-hmm.
No discount marketing copy, i.e. on sale now, up to 90% off.
Okay.
Things like that.
Right.
No text or imagery promoting a different product. So, like, no mentions of a sequel to this game.
Right.
And no other miscellaneous text.
So would DLC, and like I'm looking at Grand Theft Auto Online DLC. Would that DLC banner across here count?
No, because I think that's a Steam added thing that distinguishes it as unique from the game.
So would Endurance Update on No Man's Sky be that?
That might count.
Mm.
Yeah,
or
the Kiwami
Kiwami pack for the Samurai Showdown Kiwami pack.
Oh yeah, like something like that. That would not be.
Or High School Years expansion pack with all the.
Oh yeah, you can see a whole bunch of text there.
Yeah.
They're trying
Forza new DLC available. That would be, I would imagine, banned because it was be an advertisement within it.
So
interesting.
Yeah, they want these pictures to just be pictures of the game. They don't want the pictures to kind of become an extra level of ad marketing.
Got it. Yeah, and I understand that because a lot of them are. I mean, they are. It is really, really cluttered. Especially, when you get into maybe not so much on these like big games, but like let's do lowest price.
Yes, those are the
ones. Yeah. Then we're starting to look at like just just word salad everywhere. It looks like the downtown of Blade Runner. It's like everything just like colors and flashing and just it's just all kinds of So, all right. Well, that's going to be interesting. I wonder, are they going to address that fairly and equitably? Meaning that are they going to go after like EA and at the same time they're going after some bedroom developer?
It remains to be seen how consistently they will enforce it and what loopholes people come up with to get around it.
Yep. Yeah. So, hey, we got Jonathan Hepperly. Oh no, that it sounds like it's a bot. It's a bot. It's a bot.
You pick them out, right? Just the pacing of things, the sentence structure.
John, if you are not a bot, I apologize, but that sounds very bottish. Seriously.
Just say I'm not a bot. That's all you got to do.
All right. So my next item. I'm next. All right. Let's see. What do I want to talk about?
Oh, you said you said my name.
Oh, okay. All right. You're not a bot. You win. You proved me wrong. I stand corrected. You are now officially the listener of the day.
Oh, but Corey Wallace is a bot. So.
Oh, Corey Wallace is a bot.
Clearly, he doesn't have COVID. That's just an AI generated story.
Yeah.
No
he's
no
a bot that's been trained to play Elder Scrolls Online ad nauseum.
You know what? I believe that exists.
Yes, probably. See, now I feel bad. John says, I'm not a bot. I truly respect your show. So here we go. I will actually post his original post that I was like, ooh, that sounds bottish. Here it is. name is Hep. I'm a fan of the show. I'm glad you and people like you have the will and know how to inform me of the things I have interested. You do it well. You do it well at it. Thank you. Thank you, John.
See,
you were officially the listener of the day.
No normal people write incomplete sentences with accurate punctuation.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Right? It's too good. You need that, like,
if you're not communicating with us in grunts and clicks, then we don't trust you.
Get rid of all the periods. Get rid
You're
of
somebody's
all the
mom.
letters.
All right, so let's see. My next item is this is a follow up from something from last week. Do you remember the story that we talked about with the artist that had artwork of a Samoyed that carry, like in uniform, in military uniforms, and that had been ripped off by Activision for an upcoming skin pack? Well, Activision today, this week, admitted that yes, we did steal that, and we're really sorry, and they have they are going to axe that skin.
They actually admitted?
They actually admitted. They said, quote, "We have the utmost respect for creativity and content creation. We love the loyal Samoyed, but regrettably, we erred in our process and have removed this imagery for the game. We apologize for the misstep." So they said, We were wrong. We shouldn't have done it. We're sorry.
That's shocking.
That is shocking for Activision, a company that has repeatedly had a problem saying sorry. But whoever wrote that needs to have been writing all of the apologies for all the, handsy stuff and the rapey stuff. So,
yeah.
That's news, and that's kind of a small one. So I will back it up with something else that I think it's above the fold for me. Maybe not for you, but it's definitely for me. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is not dead. Officially not dead. Officially, unofficially.
Are you sure about this?
Well, despite every indication to the contrary, Beyond Good and Evil is in development because it just got a new lead writer. So Sarah Ariano, who has done work for Blizzard and for Volition, she announced the news via her personal Twitter account, which is the most we've heard about this game in like a year or more. She said on the Twitter, on the official Ubisoft Twitter, she says, "We are very happy to welcome Sarah, who is one of the latest recruits on Beyond Good and Evil 2. Actually, it was the Ubisoft spokesman told PC Gamer. The development team is hard at work to deliver on the promise made to its community." And if you wanted to know what that promise is and how long they've been promising it, this has been in development since 2008. That we know about. That's when we got its first teaser trailer, and it was and there was no other evidence that it was being worked on until 2017 when they issued that like really epic trailer. Oh, so good. Then in 2020, so 2 years ago, the games director Michael Ansel left the industry entirely, and in 2021. Ubisoft did say it is still in development, but we also know that Beyond Good and Evil 2 was very much a victim of that handsy guy, that bro that Yves Guilmot hired, had been, I guess it was like their creative director, executive.
He was pretty high up in.
He was like a vice president. Yeah. And he was, I think, was his chief content officer. He did not like to make any games that he didn't want to play. So, and he didn't want to make Beyond Good and Evil too.
Yeah. He
He also didn't want to make Skull and Bones. He hated pirates, so he didn't want to make a pirate game.
Under him, you've seen Ubisoft shift to like military focused shooters.
Yes.
Other than Assassin's Creed, that's kind of
all it was. That's all he wanted to play was military focused shooters, and that's what they made for a long time until he got booted because of his problem with keeping his hands off of women that worked with him. And then now, with him gone, we're starting to see a lot of the games that were made, that were promised, that were obviously set on the back burner because this guy didn't want it. Skull and Bones being one of them. The next one, of course, is Beyond Good and Evil. A lot of people, I am one of them, waiting with bated breath for this. I honestly think if this is truly in the works, if they're actually serious about making this game, and I think there's every reason for them to be serious about making this game, they will make the announcement next year.
Maybe? I don't know. I have absolutely no estimate for when this game will come out.
I think that things that were on the back burner are now being put on the front burner. Skull and Bones being like one of the biggest on the back burners. The only one that dwarfs that is Beyond Good and Evil 2. I think that Ubisoft might very well do that simply because it is they need some press. They need some press.
They need press. They need games.
Yeah.
They don't have much.
And I hate to make it 3 stories in a row, but it does dovetail into another story about Ubisoft.
Okay.
This is also something that may affect the kinds of games that they put out. Tencent is apparently looking to acquire a majority stake in Ubisoft. Now, these are just rumors. These are according to sources of people who are like apparently close to the matter or at least familiar with it. So this was reported by Reuters. The firm has expressed an interest in increasing its stake. In 2018, they acquired a 5% stake, which is significant, but not majority. The majority single owner is the Guilmot family. And it's not really clear what goal Tencent is looking at as actual number, a percent of the company that they're looking for, but a majority stake would be more than 51%.
Yeah, were they looking to get a majority or were they just looking to increase their stake?
A majority stake. So they would buy, according to sources close to the matter, they would buy everything out, buy the Guilmot family out. They founded Ubisoft. They own 15.9% of the voting stock, the company shares, and 22.3% of the net voting shares. Tencent is reportedly seeking to acquire those shares and to make up the difference, to make a majority stake, purchasing the rest of the shares from, investors, which own about 80% of Ubisoft. And the numbers they're reporting is that Tencent could offer up to $101, more than $101 per share.
Isn't that like twice what it's worth? More than twice.
3 times what it's worth. 3 times what it's at right now.
Wow. Tencent's got that fucking Tencent money.
And remember who bought Ubisoft? Remember who bought a big chunk of Ubisoft?
Shit, maybe I should go buy some Ubisoft.
So yeah, senior executives apparently flew to France in May to meet with the Guilmot family to discuss the purchase. It's not in ink. It's not announced. It's not official. But it's a very serious rumor. So yeah, if Tencent owned the majority share of Ubisoft, that would absolutely change the kinds of games that are going to come out and the rate at which they're going to come out.
Maybe. Tencent, with the stuff it's bought, has been very hands-off-ish.
Do they own a majority share? of any other company.
They straight up own several game companies.
Oh, okay. That's right. Don't they own Riot? Or no, they purchase a lot of Riot, but I don't know if they own a majority of Riot.
They might own Riot. I know they own Gearbox. They own
that's right. That's right.
Ensemble. They're the ones that bought Eidos and
right. They bought Crystal Dynamics from Square Enix. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well,
they own PUBG. Yeah, League of Legends. I think they do own Riot.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, maybe. But I also think that, there's an overlord that needs to see some games come out, that they're not going to be able to get away with not putting out games that are going to sell, like Beyond Good and Evil 2 will fucking sell. Will fucking sell. As long as they don't make a bad game, it will sell. So yeah, there's your interesting Ubisoft news for the week.
Okay. Well, now that we've delved into Ubisoft, let's delve into more Activision. So, a couple weeks ago, there was a story about a man who spent $100,000 in Diablo Immortal to see if he could buy his way to the top, right?
Right.
I'm going to spend $100,000 and I got, crap out of it.
$100,000 real money, not fake in-game money. $100,000 of real money to completely trick out his character.
Yeah, and this was a streamer who did this.
Mm-hmm.
So he has now said that because he spent so much money and has actually outfitted his character to be such a high level, he can't find a match in matchmaking.
Because he beats everybody.
No one is at his level.
Yeah.
So he said that it's taken him, was it days of trying to matchmake with no result?
I think he said 48 to 72 hours to matchmake.
Mm-hmm. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm. I heard, and I didn't delve into the headlines, and maybe I should, but I saw headlines that he's asked for a refund. Asked Blizzard for a refund for this.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Because he couldn't get a match. And he essentially spent $100,000 on something that doesn't work. And so he's asked for a refund on it.
This is pay to win. He paid to win and he won.
He won.
He's at the top of the heap.
You play
now.
stupid expensive games, you win stupid expensive prizes. Yeah, so, I think that this is wonderful. That story made me cackle and do a happy dance. And yes, do I feel bad for him? No, not at all. Not in the least.
Yeah.
Because people like him, even if he did it for the likes or for the views, he's encouraging Blizzard to do this kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
This needed to die with no one spending any money. With people playing Diablo Immortal until they hit the paywall and then stopping. So that the only way that Blizzard is going to learn that this is not appropriate is if it doesn't work. And as long as people buy the horse armor, it's only gonna get worse.
So, speaking of that, people are buying the horse armor. Activision has put out its Q2 financial reports, and what's interesting is that its mobile division made more money than all of its console divisions combined. PC and console combined.
Wow.
So 51% of Activision's total earnings came from mobile games.
And I'm wondering if it's how many players that are actually spending. Because the whole thing about these kind of microtransactions is that they're preying upon people that have an illness, that have an addictive illness, a gambling addiction. They are absolutely preying on them and children, but mostly on people with addictions. So I'm wondering what's the percentage of how much is actually coming from these whales of that income?
I don't know that, but I do know that 51% added up to 831 million. Of that 831, and I didn't do this math. Of that 831 million that they earned from mobile games, 680 came from King.
Oh, okay. Let me do the math. 831 minus 680. So 151 million was non-King.
Yeah,
Was,
so
was not Candy Crush.
what's the percentage of that?
151 divided by what was the total amount?
831?
831. It is 18%. 18% came from non-King.
So that means...
And 82% came from King.
82%. So basically, when you think about that, King is propping up so much of Activision at the moment.
I can't believe that King makes that much money still, because is Candy Crush still as...
I think it is. It's just quietly raking in the dough.
It must be. Well, I mean, they probably have other stuff other than Candy Crush. But, yeah, that's insane how much money King makes.
I think what
it's a
also
total
was
cash cow.
Is that last year was just kind of a bad year for Call of Duty. They had mentioned that Call of Duty, like, engaged players, or what they call monthly active users. And in their breakdown of monthly active users for Activision, Blizzard, and King, basically being Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and anything Blizzard makes, and then anything mobile, the Activision side of things has just gone down considerably since the same time last year. From basically 130 million monthly active users in June 30th of last year to 94 million June 30th of this year. Which is a pretty significant drop.
Right.
But again, like that comes from a Call of Duty that was not very well received. People did not particularly like Vanguard. So I think it remains to be seen if this is a drop that is going to remain low, or if this is just a drop as a result of people not latching on to last year's Call of Duty.
Right. And I think in their earnings call, they had said that they anticipate it going back up because they think that there is a lot of demand for Modern Warfare 2, which is going to be the next Call of Duty game. Which
makes sense. Like, the last Modern Warfare reboot did really well and was like very positively received, critics and gamers alike.
Right. So that may be. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to find out whether it is the bad game or the bad company. I'm sure that there is a mixture. It's a blend. But the question is, what is the percentage of that blend?
Yeah. And either way, based on the breakdown that we saw financially, King will still make more money.
Right.
Even if Modern Warfare 2 is a huge hit, King is like... the pillar.
Nobody's going hungry. Yeah, none of the C-suite are going hungry this year or any year.
Which basically says if Activision had never bought King, they would be in probably serious financial trouble.
Yeah. It was a real smart buy, really. And as I recall, it was a massive price tag that they spent on that.
Yeah, it was several billion.
How much? Let's look that up. How much did Activision buy King for? It would be $5.9 billion.
Yeah, that's a not insignificant chunk of money.
It's not an insignificant chunk of money, but it is the thing that is propping them up through a very, very winter of their discontent. This could have been a truly company breaking year for them, 2 years really for them, had it not been for King.
Yeah.
Blood Reaper says, speaking of horse armor, Oblivion can be streamed on PS5.
I don't want to stream it. I want to download it.
Yeah, me too. I really.
You know what? I should go see if I. You know what? I could probably play Morrowind on Xbox. I'll bet it's backwards compatible.
I bet you can. It may even be on the Game Pass.
Wait.
Think it
Bethesda.
might be is. I think maybe is. I think it is. I want to say that I've seen it and downloaded it and then never opened it and then deleted it because I needed the hard disk space. But I recall downloading it from somewhere.
Okay, it looks like I can buy it on Xbox.
I think it's on Game Pass.
Included with Game Pass.
Included with Game Pass, yep.
Oh, shit, am I going to have to go? God damn it. I want to get back to Elden Ring, but I keep getting distracted by other grandiose epic
Pretty
arguments.
lights. All right, so let's see. My next item is...
Jonathan said, I think if you have to pay... There's a little logo blocking the thing.
I think if you have to pay a fee to play a game, you might as well learn to gamble. The house should win, but it's not of addiction. It's not an entertainment. Yeah. But you know, that's the reality is that yes, like EA takes advantage of its whales in FIFA and exploits their illness. That is what Blizzard is aiming to do with Diablo Immortal, is to exploit a weakness and steal people with a disease, steal their money.
I know on the Waypoint podcast recently, they were talking about how the whole Diablo Immortal thing kind of shows that the self-regulation is a joke. That like the industry isn't really going to regulate itself, not when there's that much money on the line.
Yep. Parts of Europe are not wrong to limit this stuff.
There was also a news story, and I didn't put a banner in it because I forgot about it, and it was kind of a rumor. Mm-hmm. But it plays into this whole, Activision's trying to find the line of how much they can charge. Someone who played in the Overwatch 2 beta got a series of survey questions. And one of the questions was, how much would you be willing to pay for an Overwatch 2 skin? And it had a series of numbers. One of those numbers was $45.
That's disturbing that they would even dare to ask that.
So here, Blizzard actually responded saying the numbers were randomly generated.
That's also not true. You don't pay for a survey to be. There is literally a business model. Like these are businesses that do this, that create surveys. It is literally a science you can get your degree in for creating surveys. It is so complex. And absolutely it was not randomly generated. No, you don't have a survey go out from a company like that without actually having it go through a lot of vetting from very smart people who are experts in surveys. And you don't put something on there that isn't possible. It's a waste of a question.
So, yeah, if people said yes, they would absolutely do it.
Oh, without question. Like you said, self-regulation is a fallacy in the game industry.
I was just praising Octopath Traveler, Champions of the Continent. I really like that game. $30 fucking for a poll at that gotcha. I thought there was a typo. Like I went into the store and I was like, oh, I've played these types of games before, right? I know the currency conversion, all that stuff. I'm like, oh, it's $30 for one poll, or 30 rubies for one character, 300 rubies for 10 characters. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what's this conversion is. Do. And it's like, $30 gets you like 320 rubies. And I was like, wait, what? That's not. No.
Yeah. That's the way Corey says, I bought my second Lego gaming console today. I have the Nintendo, but now bought the Atari. You'd be amazed by how many people that they're functioning as real.
Wait, Lego gaming console? Is that like an Atari console made out of Legos?
Post the link.
That'd be cool.
I have a phone that's made out of Legos.
Yeah?
Kevin's phone when he was single, and we actually used it in the house for a while, and then we needed a answering machine that was a totally separate machine.
Oh,
I actually have a phone.
He says you'd be amazed how many people think they're functioning.
They're functional.
So it is a Lego console. Oh, that's
Okay.
that's cool.
That's funny. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. You just did one. I'll do one now. Right? You just did one. Yeah. We talked about Activision. Right. Okay, so let's see. What else have I got? We already talked about that. We already talked about Ubisoft. Oh, hey! Maybe shouldn't be telling you this in the beginning, like middle of our show, because then you'll probably just leave. But in case you're interested, and if you didn't know, you want to get on it soon, Far Cry 6 has a free weekend right now. All of its DLC is free as well. It's going to be free to play until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. So you got, like 20 hours to play at this point. And in addition, if you want to purchase it, it is now 60% off. And that discount price is going to be available until August 17th. So if you got nothing better to do tonight, you might want to just play Far Cry 6.
I bought that super cheap, and you know what? It's a fun Far Cry game.
That's what I've heard. It's not bad. It's not bad.
It is exactly like it's a Far Cry game. At this point, the kind of template. It's totally one of those, but it's a good one of those.
Mm-hmm. Good. So, and now it's even better when it's free. And also 60% off. So there you go.
And AC Wraith and Koi linked to the Atari, the Lego consoles.
Okay.
And
there's the Lego console.
They look cool.
Yeah, you could stop after 6. After the question mark from there on out is just a tracking information. There you go. There you go. Lego.com, US product, Atari 2600. And I'll also throw in another small one. Sony very quietly ended one of its programs that you probably have never heard of, much less used. Do you know what an accolade is?
I remember hearing about them, and when I read this news story, I had to go
look it up.
I was like, wait, I know I remember when I first turned on the PS5 and it was like walking me through the UI, it said something about accolades.
Right. And that was the only time they said anything about accolades. So yeah, if you're asking yourself what is an accolade, you are not alone, because Sony said they are axing it because literally no one used it. What an accolade is that if you were playing with someone, either like online or even a friend, I think, whether it be co-op or competitive, if you thought they did a good job, you could give them an accolade. Nobody used it. The concept was very, very nice, but clearly most people didn't even know it was there. So the notice that the accolades were going away came via the PlayStation blog, where they wrote, in the fall of 2022, the accolades feature on PlayStation 5 will no longer be supported. The feature hasn't seen the level of usage we anticipated, so we are refocusing our efforts. We encourage the community to continue to send positive messages to one another.
I mean, it's a.
They didn't do a really good job of actually promoting it.
It's a good idea, but if you're going to have something like that, it needs to be like a 1 to 2 button thing, right? I've started using the share capture because I can just hit the button on the controller and it will capture like the last 30 seconds.
Right.
That's something that's very easy to do. It's one button. You needed something like that for accolades to get people to do it. If you have to go into the menus to do it, no one's gonna
do that. It has to be just super easy of just like bloop and that's it. We ain't nobody got time for that. So yeah, you're now losing something you never even used in the first place.
That's okay. I don't mind.
That's fine. That's good. Just get that clutter out.
Mm-hmm.
So your next item?
It is the Halo 2's Impossible Challenge has been completed.
Mm-hmm.
So a YouTuber named Critical, spelled with a 1 and a K, I think earlier this...
Alsop with a 0 for the O. Or EV0L for evil.
Yes. Look.
Are we all like 14? Come on.
Yes. I literally made that when I was 14.
Yep. 14-year-old boys. The only ones that talk like that. Anyway, so Critical.
Critical, I think earlier this summer, made a bounty to beat Halo 2 on the highest difficulty setting, with every bonus challenge modifier turned on without dying.
Right.
And one guy, a streamer, who's actually kind of a low-level Halo streamer, not someone who's been doing it for a long time, not someone with a ton of followers, named Jervalin, did it. And he has the archive up on stream. You can kind of watch him go through the whole game. And I watched some of it. And I think one of the most interesting things about it is how many fights he avoids. Because on that level of difficulty, basically one hit and you're dead. And it was interesting watching him like jump over here, jump over here, jump over here, and just like get around a bunch of people without fighting them.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. And to beat the final boss, he managed to get one of the flying machines in Halo. Not the Pelican, not the Ghost, not the Osprey.
I am exactly the wrong person to be tasking about this.
Oh, it's an alien flying ship. He was able to like bring one of those into the final fight against the boss, and then just kind of hovered in the air, laying plasma rounds into him to win.
Oh my god!
But
wow. But it's $20,000. I guess he gets $20,000 out of it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, $20,000. And like at the end of the clip, you can see his family come in and congratulate him in like what is a genuinely sweet, heartwarming moment.
That's nice.
So
That's
yeah.
Good. So let's see. You have another item? I've gone a couple of at a time.
I have one. I should have mentioned this earlier. This is in.
You're gonna do it to me again.
No, this is good news for Activision.
Oh, okay.
Very minor good news. So, who was it? Someone brought a lawsuit against Activision over Call of Duty Infinite Warfare that came out in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
This is by Brooks Entertainment, Inc., which is a company in California that specializes in film and TV production and other.
Oh, I remember reading about this. Yes. Okay.
And they basically said that Infinite Warfare ripped off some of their intellectual property. Things like this is intellectual property that the Brooks Entertainment supposedly has, Save One Bank and Stock Picker. Even though, based on this Kotaku article, the author could not find any evidence for the mobile games Save One Bank and Stock Picker actually existing.
Mm-hmm.
But in the complaint, they basically says like, oh, this character named Sean, our character's named Sean. There's a shootout in a
mall. It was a mall? Yeah.
Something like that.
A luxury mall.
And Activision basically said no, all of this is wrong. Yes, it's a mall, but it's a sci-fi mall. The character named Sean gets killed, and you play someone else for the rest of the game. Like, Sean isn't even in the mall level. None of this is accurate. And the judge recently dismissed that lawsuit by basically saying, you didn't play Call of Duty. You didn't play this game. You have no idea what you're talking about.
He dismissed it with prejudice. So, and that's really hard to do, to get a judge to do that. Essentially threw it out of court, saying that the complaint is factually incorrect.
Yeah. And Hogue.
And easily verifiably incorrect.
Richard Hogue from Hogue's Law had one of the best quotes about this. He said, it's hard to say why this suit was brought up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody's trying to gun for the big bucks, the deep pockets. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Players gonna play. It's the way it happens. So let's see. This is my last item? Is this my last item? No! Here's a fun one. Should have brought this up when we were talking about Ubisoft. Continuing on with the Ubisoft story, the topic. Nick, do you want to get liquored?
Sure.
All right.
Always.
Well, might I recommend a new upcoming whiskey, Assassin's Creed whiskey. To celebrate the 15th anniversary of Assassin's Creed, Anthem Studios is releasing a very special edition whiskey that is representing the franchise. So Anthem Studios is going to have the 15th Assassin's Creed 15th anniversary straight bourbon whiskey. It's going to be available in August. And they've said that they have plans for a Black Flag branded spiced rum and a Valhalla branded vodka for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And the Anthem Studios is a licensing studio. They do licensing, bottling, and distribution company for film and television and sports. Remember, you actually never even got any of it, and now it's, I think, gone. I drank all of it because I bought a lot of it. The Walking Dead wine.
Well, I think I've had some of that before. I saw a bunch of that at
Grocery outlet. It was like $3.99 a bottle, and it was like, yeah, Mommy could take a few of those. Well, I'll take one of those and one of those and one of those. Yeah, I had a lot of Assassin's Creed wine in this house over the years, but I haven't seen it come back at Grocery Outlet. Grocery Outlet is essentially in. I think it's not exclusively in Northern California, but I think it is exclusive to California currently right now. They get from other supermarkets food that either isn't selling and has an expiration date, so that they buy it as a discount from other supermarkets. That they pull it off the shelves because it's not selling. It's going to go bad. They don't want it on the shelves. It's taking up shelf space. So Grocery Outlet says, we'll give you XYZ amount for all of that wine. Or we'll give you XYZ amount for all of that cereal, breakfast food. And then they put it on their shelves for a discount. And amazing discounts. Really, really good discounts. So it's an incredibly economical place to shop if you have one. They have excellent food, especially like organic and foods. Super good for that. But their wine and beer selection is top notch and cheap as fuck. So yeah, root for a Grocery Outlet to come into your neighborhood because it will make your life better. And there was a lot of that booze up here. I drank a lot of that stuff. And I think the idea of a Black Flag spiced rum is a really good idea if they time it with the release of Skull and Bones.
Well, I'm at the website and the spice rum is not out yet.
Share it. Share it.
only the straight bourbon whiskey is out.
Right. That's what they said, is that the spiced rum, they have plans to release the spiced rum and the Assassin's Creed Valhalla vodka.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I've been looking, and apparently you can buy it from their website. With that links to some place called, like, I forget. It's another website. But it's not at Total Wine. I was looking at the Total Wine website, and this is not there.
Yeah. So yeah, they're making it with, they partnered with a distillery and it's called Tennessee Legend, and they are offering nationwide distribution of this. And if you live near a Tennessee Legends, they have 4 retail stores that they're selling them in the Tennessee Legend stores. So yeah.
Yeah, it looks like you can only buy it online at some place called lovescotch.com.
That makes sense. So are you going to buy some? Are you really looking to buy some?
I would. It's $70. It's a lot.
Well, yeah, it's you're paying. You're not paying for the booze. You're paying for the license. That's a given. It's just plain old bourbon. So yeah, but it'd be fun to have. You could put it up on your nerd wall.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yep. So next item from you.
Yes, this is interesting side of things to come. The Indonesian government has blocked a lot of gaming websites.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the Indonesian government is starting to crack down on the internet control. They've passed a bunch of internet control laws, and part of that is that they will crack down on anything online that they deemed unlawful. And if they deem it unlawful, then the service platform will have like 24 hours to get rid of it. In order to abide by those laws, international companies operating in Indonesia have to sign up in order to be allowed in.
Mm-hmm.
Most companies chose not to do that.
Right.
And so most of them have now been blocked in Indonesia. And this includes things like Steam, Dota, Epic Games, Origin.com, Nintendo, Ubisoft, Epic Games Store, basically most gaming platforms.
Right. Makes sense. I wouldn't want to go there.
Yeah. But that sucks for anyone in Indonesia, because now basically, that's what the government wanted, is now large swaths of the internet are just unavailable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And remember, Indonesia is the place where you can go to prison for spitting on the sidewalk, and chewing gum is illegal.
Really?
Yes. Chewing gum is illegal.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It is a monarchy, and the monarch is active and runs it with a iron fist. And he is beloved by the Indonesians. They think of him as a god.
Like, Indonesian action movies are some of the most violent and brutal and well choreographed action movies ever. So it's just such a weird thing to come out of such a strict country.
A very strict country. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me. I'm really, really surprised that Indonesia allowed it up to this point. Really surprised that they allowed it up to this point. Because in a country where you cannot spit on the sidewalk without being arrested, the fact that they would allow something like Grand Theft Auto into it, or any military game where you're shooting people, that does strike me as strange that they even allowed it as long as they have. So yeah, doesn't surprise me. What surprised me is Australia. Wow, Australia is so freaking strict about their video games. Yes.
Oh yeah, video games.
Yes, they're strict about their video games. And it's that is what's weird, is that Australia is kind of a cool country except about video games. It's the outlier, and I don't understand it. I do not at all. But anyway, that's just me. I'm sure some Aussie may be able to explain it to me, but I don't know that I would actually have the capacity to understand.
No, I think most Australian gamers are like, yeah, this is all really stupid.
It is all really very stupid. All right, well, my last item is something kind of interesting it's a bit of a teaser for the future. A group of former Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077 developers have broken off from CD Projekt Red and started their own studio, and they are apparently working on an online ninja game that is set in feudal Japan. So the name of the studio, they have dubbed it the Dark Passenger Studio. It is led by Jakob Ben and Marcin Michalski. They have both. Jakob Ben was a cinematic artist on Witcher 3. Marcin Michalski was an animator on Cyberpunk 2077. And they are describing that studio as being made up of game dev veterans and fresh blood specialists, quote unquote. So they haven't given the name of this game, but they did say that they're working on a online multiplayer game that they're making in Unreal 5 that is going to be set in feudal Japan. It's going to have some kind of co-op to it, as well as PvP and PvE aspects. And they're describing that something they call a locomotion system that will allow players to run on arrows fired by other players, or climbing up vertical surfaces quickly through the use of things like Shuko claws, which sounds kind of cool. So
yeah,
jury's out. Jury's absolutely out on this. It may never see the light of day, but it's interesting enough that it garnered a little bit of attention from me. It made me go, this would not be bad.
Okay. I got one interesting story by was it Blood Reaper? Yeah, Blood Reaper in the Discord posted this, I think just recently. Sony put in a new patent for a controller with a really interesting new feature. Basically, and look, it's just a patent. There's no guarantee that if a company patents something, they will actually do it. It's mainly just, hey, we had this idea for something.
It's pissing on an idea so that nobody else can own it.
Yeah. What they did is they patented this idea of putting non-Newtonian fluid inside the base of the control sticks. What non-Newtonian fluid does is it changes its viscosity based on how much pressure you apply to it.
Right.
With the idea being that the faster you move the control stick, the
more it resists.
It will have. Which, we've seen them add something like this with the triggers. It's a very interesting idea for a possible way to do this with the analog sticks. Whether or not it's feasible, who the fuck knows?
That's just what you need is your controller leaking non-Newtonian fluid.
Leaking and you know what? That is how you get to a controller that's $150. That like, oh shit, the control stick broke. I have to replace everything.
Yeah.
Good luck getting that fixed.
Yeah.
That is a DIY nightmare.
Yeah, it is the way to subvert the whole freedom to fix movement.
just make it
impossible to actually fix it.
You can absolutely open up the controller, whether or not you can get the non-Newtonian fluid in there.
Right. Yeah. Just go down to your local non-Newtonian fluid Us and get yourself a half an ounce of that. You'll be fine.
They sell it at Home Depot.
They sell it by the gallon, actually, which kind of sucks.
A gallon, you use that much. What am I going to do with the rest of this?
Hey, microtransactions all around.
It's a
A subscription. It's like buying rubies. You're going to have 20 rubies left. Anyway, so yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if they'll never make that.
But it's a really cool,
really interesting idea. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there was a time when the concept of a water-cooled computer was hilarious. Like that was a joke. Back in my day, everybody gather around. Grandma Edie is going to tell you a little story. Back in my day, they talked about like water-cooled computers, and it was like fantasy. Like they would have the water-cooled computers, but only like in these big industrial like labs that with huge like their the hard drives were like the size of a room, and those would be water-cooled. But to actually have a PC that was water-cooled, so yeah, that's a never say never. It could happen. Not likely, but it might happen.
Okay.
What?
And we need to send Jonathan a link to this video.
Yeah. Oh, if you could be so kind, can you send me a link to this video? I want to show my mother that famous people recognize my existence. I don't know if I'd call us famous people, but absolutely. In fact, what's your mom's birthday? We will send her a birthday message on her birthday. We'll Jonathan's mom, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving.
Miss Hepperly.
Mrs. Hepperly. And he says, Corey Wallace says, liquid proof controllers, brilliant. Wish they made them before now. LOL.
Oh God, yeah. Imagine if that liquid leaks out, gets into the rest of the guts of the controller, and then just shorts everything.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's the last thing you need is your controller leaking non-Newtonian fluids everywhere. I hope that's not non-conductive. All right. So any more items? There we go. AC Wraith found a link for the history of water cooling. Oh my God. You are such a genius. You are a savant of link finding. What? He said, did we even pronounce the name correctly? Hepperly?
It looks like
that's exactly what it is.
Looks like how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
How do other people say
it? I guess you could see that it looks like Hepperell. Hepper.
Oh, Hepperell?
Yeah, they will switch the E and the L. Yeah. Okay. I could see that. So thank you for providing that link. There's the link for you in the chat. AC Wraith has provided it.
One more truly heartbreaking story. Several weeks ago, we had news that there was a Dead by Daylight dating sim coming out.
Mm-hmm.
This is only a review by one person, but the person who reviewed it for Kotaku said it was not very good. They said
what was the concept of this? You remind me of what this dating sim was.
You are dating all of the serial killers from Dead by Daylight.
Oh, yeah.
There's a resort, and you're dating all of them in like it's like a tropical resort for serial killers, and you're dating them. So, quote from the review. You wash up onto Murderer's Island with worms in your belly and no memories in your head. In quick succession, you come across a skull buried in the sand, vomit, and meet 4 cutesified Dead by Daylight killers. And that's
I'm looking to see if there's any video of this game, because apparently it's out.
Yeah, it is out. But they say that it's a little too. Hey, Jupiter, stop that. A little too self-conscious that it's constantly trying to wink at you, being like, hey, isn't this a goofy premise? Isn't this a goofy premise? Yeah, we're so witty, right? Wink, wink, wink.
called Hooked on You. It's
Yeah.
just the trailer, but oh my God. Romance, iconic Dead by Daylight killers. Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
So, okay, the person from Kotaku did not like it.
Uh-huh.
On the other hand, no one can accuse GameHounds of not being fair and balanced. AC Wraith says that it's rated very positive on Steam.
Really?
So,
Interesting.
yeah. Critical consensus and audience consensus, opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Metacritic knows that there's always a difference between the professional reviewers and the non-professional reviewers.
That's true.
Oh, wow. I'm curious. I am curious about this.
And I don't know where this is. Like,
What?
It must be on Steam.
It's got to
right?
be Steam. It's got to be Steam.
Because there are Steam reviews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it free?
I can't believe it'd be free. That would be absolutely foolish because people will buy it. It can't be much, but people will buy it.
Oh, no, it's $9.99.
Yeah, people will buy it, but it needs to be a nominal amount. It can't be a full.
$10.
Yeah, $10. People would buy it for $10. There we go. 77 out of 100 on OpenCritic.
Okay, I think that's
Maybe
good.
that's what I need to play on Twitch, is to play the Dead by Daylight dating sim.
Come for Crusader Kings, stay for Hooked on You.
Yeah, and I'm not I haven't been a huge fan of dating sims. I find them kind of silly. But what was the one about dating a pigeon?
Hatful Boyfriend.
Hatful Boyfriend was really good.
I've heard that.
Surprisingly good. Like, I played a lot of it. And I was it's essentially a pigeon dating simulator. You're not a pigeon. You as a human are dating pigeons.
Yeah.
It is crazy, silly, stupid. But it was actually ended up being a heck of a lot of fun and really well written and lots of different endings and ways to play it. So, and I think that was the appeal of it, is that there is very high replayability because every decision you make affects what's going on. So yeah. I might have to do that. I don't know if I'm going to do it this week, but I might. I may.
That would be a fun thing to watch.
Yeah. I think you would actually watch if that was the case.
I'll join you for that.
We could play it together. We can make the decisions together.
Yeah.
You can backseat me and that's fine. I'm all good with that. All right. So any other news items before we close this out?
That's all I got.
All right. Well then. Well, hold on a second. I gotta get where I need to go. Everything takes multiple moves and changing things. All right, there we go. Let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds, episode 648. We recorded this on Sunday, August 7th, 2022. I'm Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DiNicola. Happy birthday to AC Wraith's brother. If you want to get a hold of us, gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Facebook and Twitch, we are the GameHounds. And YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids, V-I-D-S, GameHounds Vids, all one word, as in videos. Love to have you join us. Thank you to everyone in the chat room. So awesome to have you here. Thank you again to AC Wraith, who is the amazing link bitch from don't know how he does it. Corey Wallace says his birthday's on Wednesday. Happy birthday, Corey Wallace.
Birthday.
So, yeah, thank you to Corey Wallace. Thank you to AC Wraith. Thank you to John Hepperly and Blood Reaper. And I think was Pissed in here? No, it wasn't Pissed. Somebody else was in here early on. It was Bitters. Thank you for being here. we appreciate it. So, if you would like to ever connect with us and the rest of the community, don't forget that we have a Discord channel. You can find the link for that Discord channel on the top, the very first item on our Facebook page. We would love to have you join us in the Discord. That's where you can put like news links. Blood Reaper did it today. We absolutely talk about the stuff you want to talk about. Discord channel, if you're watching, it's on the screen now. We are 100% patron funded through Patreon. Thank you to all of the patrons. You make this possible. Were it not for you, this would not exist. You can find us at patreon.com/GameHounds. We only ask for $1 a month. We're not looking to make any money. We're not looking to make a living. We're looking just to pay for our costs here because we do this because we love it and we will continue to do it for the next 14 years, I think. So, yeah, it's fine. We would appreciate it if you would be a patron. $1 a month is all we ask. If you could do a little more, that's fine, but no obligation. Have a great week, everyone. We will talk to you later. Please be safe out there. And look for my gameplays through Crusader Kings or maybe even a dating simulator later soon. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Save. This is the most important thing in the whole show. GH 648 raw. Raw.
Ah, those raw files.
And I am incredibly nervous until I get that saved. Like
every time you see it.
Every time that it's like I know there's going to be a time when I quit and it's going to give me the beach ball and it's going to die and I'm going to lose the whole show, which would suck.
I know. I remember that feeling when I was recording all the podcasts I used to do for Pop Matters.
Yeah, that nagging stress. So yeah, now I can relax a little bit. So what are you going to play this week?
More Octopath.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Game Pass. That
Morrowind?
No, the choose your own adventure stop motion comic game that we saw.
The Quarry?
No, remember we saw trailers for it. It's like Has the Wind Blows? Has I Lay Dying? You remember?
Oh,
like the crime one. That was like,
what's it called? Yes.
Has I? It's like has something. You know the game, right?
Yes, I know. I could see it in my mind's eye from the yes.
That's out now.
Oh, is it?
Yes. So we could play some of that.
We could. You want to play that tonight?
What is that called?
It's multiplayer, right?
I'm pretty sure.
If it's multiplayer, sure. I'd be down for playing that tonight with you and streaming it on Twitch through the console.
Okay, I would be down for that. Okay, recently added. I'm on Game Pass. Oh shit! I saw it and then scrolled past it. What is it? Has Dusk Falls.
Dusk Falls. That's it. Yeah. As Dusk Falls.
Okay, wait,
look up to see if it is multiplayer. Is As Dusk Falls multiplayer? As Dusk Falls multiplayer? As Dusk Falls, you can play with up to 8 players.
Oops.
Either connected locally or online.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We could absolutely do that.
One of those, we take a character, we make decisions, then you take a character and make the decisions.
Right. Okay, we'll play that.
Okay.
In fact, if you would stream at the same time that I stream, because of course my stream is going to be different than your stream. And it'd be really interesting to see your decisions when I'm making my decisions, because we'll be synced time-wise.
Then
so people can flip back and forth between the two streams.
Can we have 2 different streams going to the same channel?
Ooh, that is a good question. I don't. I'm gonna have to look that up. Maybe not. If we can, we'll do that. If we can't, then we won't.
Yeah. And I do remember getting Twitch to work on Xbox required a bit of finagling.
It's a bit of finagling. You have to log into Twitch via the Twitch app. And then, oh no, Xbox is easy. PlayStation
Really?
is hard.
I thought it was the other way around.
No, PlayStation is hard. Xbox is easy. I
Okay.
recall. Maybe, no. You're right. I think it is reversed. One of them is hard. One of them is easy. I know that for certain.
Yeah.
And whatever the one is hard, you actually have to go into the Twitch app and then start the recording through the Twitch app and then go back to the game.
Okay. So I keep that in mind. I think you might have to do that.
Yeah. Okay. What time do you want to do that?
Let's see. We still got to make some dinner.
Yep. I still got to walk the dogs.
Say 7:30.
7:30 sounds good. And
Okay.
I can't be up super late because I do have to be up in the morning. It is
Okay.
going to be Monday. I still have to also take out my garbage. It's garbage night.
Okay. Then
It's not a
maybe-
big thing for you. You've got a garbage chute, you
Oh yeah.
pampered
I fucking love that
baby.
shit. I don't even have to go downstairs to throw out garbage anymore. I chuck it out a window basically.
Yep, you do.
Okay, so then maybe we will get on at 7, work out all the technical stuff to stream around 7:30.
Yeah, between 7:15 and 7:30 we'll probably go live.
Okay.
So, and we'll do it to Twitch. If you're still watching us and join us on Twitch, we would love to have you watch Nick. Nick is he seems like a really nice person. Nick is an absolute asshole. Nick will stab his friends in the back. He's a loyal friend, but a terrible co-op player.
I just want to make things interesting for the viewers.
No, you want to stab people in the back. You do that when nobody's watching. You're a dick.
We're watching.
You get to live out your alternate life. You get to get out all your dickish qualities when you play video games.
If this is about Rainbow Six Extraction, that's just about survival. It's
No.
Yes.
You will absolutely. It's you. The way you play Rainbow Six Extraction is I don't need to run fast. I just need to run faster than you. That's your answer to that game.
I mean, yes, that's true.
You're the person that would shove someone back into the zombies to slow them down so you could get away.
It depends on who it is.
You wouldn't do it for your mom, but maybe your brother.
No, I wouldn't do it for my family.
But everybody else
Look,
is on notice.
Do I remember your name? No. Watch your back.
All right. So we hopefully will see you tonight. If you're still watching us, we'll see you tonight on Twitch about 7:15, 7:30-ish Pacific time. So that'd be late for in the East Coast, about 10:15, 10:30-ish.
Yeah, see, Blood Reaper knows how it. He's like me.
Blood Reaper says, I'm like Nick. AC Wraith nails it. Edie plays for the best ending. Nick plays for the drama. Yes.
I play for the best ending when I'm by myself, but when I'm with others, I want to mix it up a little.
Yeah. And John Hepperly says, I think you can do a dual stream on Twitch, team something. All right. I will also look that up because just what he needs, one more thing to do tonight is to research that. But if not, then we'll just play with a single stream and then you can watch Nick screw me over. Because he's going to. Because I will never screw over Nick. That's just not who I am. I'm a really, really nice person. All right. Nick, everybody, thank you so much for listening. We will see you You'll see me on coming up on Wednesday at 6:00 for Crusader Kings, or maybe a dating simulator. We don't know. We might start in on the incesty thing and then switch over to we might leapfrog it. Dating simulator and incest. I think that's appropriate. But yeah, we'll see you on Thursday for that. And then, of course, the next show that we have is next Sunday. Have a great week, everyone. And again, really be safe out there. COVID is very much still a thing. Have a great week. Bye. Thanks for reminding me about Fable 3. Bye.